Hello, YouTube. Uh, I got a interesting uh, message to share in this video, um, which is that um, I just wanted to talk about something that I haven't said very much about on this channel. Um, I didn't really describe it the best way I could have originally on this channel, but this is just gonna be a message to help people who struggle with this sort of thing. Everybody has struggled with this, and I've talked about it. How everybody struggled with it, but yeah. So basically, uh, I came up with this theory, and I heard of it before at one point in my life from a stranger who I observed talking about it, but I didn't really think much of it at the time. Years later, I realized that the person was right. For years, I didn't realize it. Didn't realize the person was right about it. But after learning about science and learning physics and math throughout the years, I was able to come to the realization that the person was right. Um, After studying every field of study, the ways I've talked about and shown on my channel, come to the realization that it's always been true. What I'm about to say, and it applies to everything. It's good news. Okay, so here's what it is. Which it's just beauty and good looks, or the contrary, the spectrum of being physically attractive. I just want to say that everything I've everything that I've noticed about science and physics has shown the same thing. I've talked about this many times, that by laws of physics, there's something called the law of attraction as it applies to physics. And, well, what I noticed is that we often would say, oh, well, this thing is not physically attractive. This thing isn't physically beautiful, physically good looking. But funnily enough, it's not the case, because it's just not the case because, simply put, there is plenty of evidence that everything is physically beautiful, physically attractive, and physically pleasant to the eye. And here's what it is, which is that everything that exists that's physical has other physical things that attract to it. If a thing is physically moving inch by inch toward another thing, that is in and of itself a form of physical attraction. Therefore, every object is physically attractive. For example, a table is an inanimate object. A human is walking toward the table inch by inch. One person will say the table is not physically beautiful. Another person will say that it is. Regardless, regardless, um, Regardless, the fact of the matter is the table is physically attractive. It's physically beautiful. Why? Because it's something is physically moving inch by inch toward it by laws of physics. That is what the laws of physics is, and that's what physical attraction really means. It means if a thing is physically attractive, it means it has other physical things move toward it because it is physically favorable. So it's a generational lie of pseudoscience to say that not everything is physically attractive. Taught by neurotypical lunatics who, I've gone over for what's felt like centuries about the same issues and misconceptions they have produced to themselves and others. But again, I'll give another example. Every single human has other humans physically move toward them because they actually want to be moving toward them and be near them. That is the exact criteria of physical attractive. We say it's a psychological thing and a physical thing. It's not. It's like a mix between the two. It's not the generational lie that everyday people think, where it's just it's how you interpret certain physical shapes and traits. It's just it's not that alone. It's more about the priorities of the physical object, the priorities associated with it, the abilities, the capabilities, the uses of it. That's the psychology. The psychology supersedes the interpretation of certain negative things associated with a shape or physical traits. And so everything is physically attractive, and every object is physically attractive. Everything then must be physically beautiful. So yeah, yeah. I mean, so when generational think, everyday people tell the lie that but you are not physically beautiful or attractive because this person thought that your physical traits were repulsive. Well, that doesn't mean that the person's physical traits are not physically attractive. It just means that that person's physical traits are both physically attractive and physically repulsive. Something can be simultaneously physically attractive and repulsive at the same time. Hey, let's think about this for a second. Maybe, just maybe, there's something already talked about in science books that's just like that, matches that description. Not a coincidence, since we're talking about physics after all, and psychology, since they don't contradict. It's called magnetism, electromagnetism. Yeah. Anyway, this should be a no-brainer, but everyday people don't really have much of a brain, so it makes sense why I have to make this video. But anyway, with that said, that's all I'm really going to say for this video. Just consider that you are physically attractive, but that doesn't mean you're not also simultaneously physically repulsive. It depends on, it's not just the whole thing about the eye of the beholder. It's the fact that even if the beholder thinks it's physically repulsive, the fact that they still want to move toward you, even when they are considering you physically repulsive, means that they are being physically moved toward you. Movement is attraction. Physical movement is physical attraction. So all the criteria is there. For something to be physically repulsive, it must also simultaneously be physically attractive. no matter how repulsive it is, it's still attractive on some level. So there's just different levels of attractive and beauty. And it goes more by how powerful an object is and strong it is than it does by the perception of the physical, of what the physical shapes do, or what their role is in society or situations. So it really just had to be said at some point. So don't, if you're ever wondering if you are just doomed to be physically repulsive, just know that you're not. Society, which is a bunch of cults of lunatic psychos, wouldn't want you to believe that that's true, but it is true. And you have one person who will tell you the truth about it, which is me. And that's all I'm going to say in this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.